has requested that our group does recitation of the Vajra Cutter Sutra 3 times a week for 3 years to come. So it is crucial for us to have some kind of understanding of this precious text, which we have started to recite, but it is sometimes quite cryptic for us. So Geshe kindly has promised to open it up for us, but it's a long text, so it's up to Geshe whether we recite it or not, or we just... and we have the FPMT prayer book, I think it's 36 is the page. Thank you, Geshe. Oh yes, and there will be one break, which will be
11:30 to 12, so 20 minutes.
And then lunch people can have after the teaching, which is then until 2 we continue.
Okay, somebody who is more familiar with this. Okay, first setting proper motivation, then I will say a few words, and then as for the prayers, maybe somebody who has been more regular to the center, you can lead the prayer. Okay, so I'm extremely happy to be here in this beautiful center, and the Maria and Stina and the Honey, they're all working here. And then we have particularly I was so moved and touched by the participants of the last 6-day program, and it was really, I would like the feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood. And I personally, to be very honest, say students, this is very complicated. So I always tell people that I have friends. I'm lucky to have many friends, but not students. I'm very unlucky to have any student. So what I'm saying is that I have many friends. That in fact, we should be seeing each other as more friends. To think about teacher is in this context of the Buddhist teachings, particularly the Mahayana Buddhism. It is not easy. It's not easy. So therefore, I always suggest that don't rush to look for root guru, or he's my guru, she's my guru, he's my root guru, she's my root guru. Just keep that aside for the time being. And the world, there are so many. If you look at the world, then you will not know how to cry and how to cry and how to smile. Because some world will tell you smile, and some will say no time for smile, you have to cry. So therefore, one thing which is very important is that amongst the teachers that you meet in your life, amongst the teachers are the people who you meet in your life, and it will be good if you have somebody to be seen as the very close associate, or somebody who is who can guide you, meaning not necessarily as a teacher. Say for example, should I take the highest yoga tantra empowerment, not, or say this book, is it correct for me to read, not read? So in that context, in the monastic universities, big monastic universities, we have 2 mentors. One who actually give you the philosophical teachings as your the real teacher, and the other one who is as your like the fatherly figure, always guides you properly, which teacher you should go to receive teachings from, and what kind of things to do, what not to do, like a fatherly figure. So like that, it is good, because that the FPM, luckily, because of course the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then we have how Lama Yeshe first started, Lama Yeshe, and then the Sobarimpoche, how they took this incredibly great initiative of the disseminating this precious teaching of the Buddha in the West. And this is so fortunate. And now here in Finland, we see that there's the FPMT group coming up, and that there's a space here, and people to take the responsibility. This is very, very, very fortunate. And because of this, the thing that I'd like to share with you is that there are a number of teachers coming, visiting. And again, the same thing, I'm being very honest, no need to rush to look for teachers as my guru and so forth. The outside people will say, yes, you need to have a root guru like this. Okay, just don't pay heed to such things. Look for somebody who is very learned, and if possible, with whom you have easy access. That's very important. With whom you have easy access, to whom you can easily, the request for advice or seek guidance and so forth. In fact, recently, during the 6-day study retreat there, I met one who is in 50s, and I was so impressed to learn from her that she has somebody, whatever she does pertaining to her the Dharma practice, Dharma related practice, she always checks with that teacher. And if the teacher says, yes, go ahead, then she does it. If the teacher says no, then she does not. So the point is that somebody who's very learned and somebody who is very learned and experienced, and of course, very caring and loving, be able to, they pay attention to you, meaning give attention to you. Whatever questions that you raise, take it very seriously and then give advice accordingly with the comprehensive knowledge and experience. Okay, at PMT Finland, there are so many teachers coming, and so therefore, say it's not necessary that somebody with a big name, not necessary. You should have easy access to that person, and you should feel connected. You'll feel connected, and that too, it's not necessary to take that person as your guru or root guru, like that's not necessary. No rush, but you can seek advice, and then eventually you feel really connected, and you are very confident, and then in whatever way you have benefited a lot, then you can take that person as your root guru or guru, whatever. That's fine. That's not an issue. Okay, so with this, okay, so I'm very happy on top of the 6-day program there, and then yesterday's the one day talk, not really one day talk, it's like the 1.5 hours talk, and then today here, like about the 3.5 hours of talk here. So it's for me, it's a great opportunity to meet with all of you, and some of you who I already met before. Okay, so setting a proper motivation for the virtues, and particularly measure the virtues. It is advised to have two things. One is to set a proper motivation in the beginning, and then in the end dedicate the virtues, the merits properly. Two things. For the setting proper motivation, 3 points to keep in mind. Okay, the refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. Okay, visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, if you have received teachings from him, and then many of you must have received teachings from Lama Subba Rinpoche. Then you can visualize Lama Subba Rinpoche, and then all the enlightened beings. And number 2, how you visualize them, that makes a whole difference. Visualize them as very affectionate parents, and imagine that you come home demoralized, and you are from the school, being bullied by the elder children in the school, And you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are waiting there to give full love, affection, attention, and embrace. And number 2 is bodhicitta field. Visualize your two parents on the two sides. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship that you have with your parents as of now. Just go back in time when you were age 4, 5, 6, 7, when you were so vulnerable and your parents were there to give full love, affection, attention. Just bring that to a visualization. And your two parents on the two sides, your children, your family members, and all sentient beings living on the side, everyone here in Helsinki, the human beings, the animals, okay, the visitors, the tourists, the local people, then the animals, insects, the spirits, the hell beings, Holy Ghost beings, spirit, the god goddesses, and everyone here in Helsinki, and everyone in the world, and everyone in the entire Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And here, how you visualize them. Here you are the mother, and all others are like your children. And literally, they are like children. Children means somebody who does not know things far and wide in space and time. And you are learning about the Vajra Cutter Sutra, Damdul Cutter Sutra, which is so precious sutra. And they did not get this opportunity. They are not getting this opportunity. So you are like the mother who has a greater vision, the sight in space and time, and all others, including your parents. So we should be feeling exceptional compassion towards them. And with that in mind, keep in mind point number 3, the purpose of this study is to awaken the seed of perfection that exists within each one of us. The seed of perfection, also referred to as the Buddha nature, like the gold. When the gold when mixed with the soil, you don't see the gold glowing. While the meaning of the gold is the nature of the gold is to glow. But when mixed with the soil, it does not glow. It doesn't mean that the gold is not there. Gold is there. Gold is there, but the ordinary people cannot see that. It is only the experts who see this gold inside. So, how do the experts convince us of the presence of the gold there? Is through removing the dirt. As the dirt is removed more and more, the gold inside will start to glow. Likewise, as the mental dirt is removed from your mind, then the gold inside, the Buddha nature, will become manifest in the form of fearlessness and in the form of infinite happiness. And for that matter, we can't really expect some kind of miracle to happen to us suddenly, either because of the blessings or because of you doing something, chanting and so forth. No, we can't expect that. It must be done very practically and realistically. We should be very pragmatic, in other words. Just as the darkness can be eradicated only by introducing the light, likewise, the darkness of these metal stains, metal defilements, can be dispelled only by introducing the light of the wisdom. Or it is only this wisdom, and this wisdom is so powerfully, beautifully, and comprehensively presented, taught by the Buddha Shakyamuni in this Vajra Cutter Sutra. So, with this inspiration to build this wisdom of emptiness, to dispel the darkness of the ignorance, driven by the force of great compassion towards all our dear sentient beings, with that motivation, let's do the practice. Page number?
Page 34.
24. 34, 24.
34.
30, 34. Okay, 34. Okay, 34. Is there somebody who is more regular? You would like to do it? Yes, that would be good.
Usually we chant this in Tibetan.
Some question for you. Question. Good.
Eli sivu 34, page 34, and we have the refuge and bodhicitta, and we chant it twice in Tibetan, and then we read it once in English. Sanje Chayano Yonamlo Yanjo Bado Dane Yanzu Dame Yenzo Yebe Sonamgi Lola Benje Sanje Drubarasho Sanje Chayano Yonamla Yanjo Bado Dane Yanzu Dame Yenzo Yebe Sonamgi Lola Benje Sanje Drubarasho. Go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And then we read the immeasurables in English. All sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. And then we read the 7-limb prayer. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence, and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. And then the short mandala offering. Geshe, can you chant that?
Yes. Which one?
The short mandala offering.
O Sajibeke Joshamando Tam Finish? Okay. Do we have the Yedharma mantra here?
I don't think we have the Yedharma mantra in this book, no.
Oh.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
But I think most of us know it.
Okay, yes.
Maybe we can chant it just.
So in the blessing of peace,
It should
Yes.
I think it's in the beginning of the book. Yeah, on the page 17.
Page 17.
17.
Yes.
Liberating Path mantra.
Yes. Okay, there are various the translations of this. The what this mantra is known as, dependent related heart mantra, dependent origination, essence of the dependent origination mantra, heart essence of the dependent origination mantra, or dependent related heart mantra is fine. Okay, so this mantra is so important, and I think better before we read this, I'll explain this. Okay. Ye Om Ye Dharma Om. Those of us who attended the 6-day retreat, you should have the meaning already. But then those who are the more meeting me first time, okay, for you I'm explaining this, and for those who already attended, it will be like a reinforcement or to refresh your understanding of it. So basically the mantras, various Buddhist mantras, they are 1, 2, 3, generally speaking, like 4 versions of the mantra with 4 different kinds. One with the Om and without the Swaha in the end. Then the next one is without Om, then with the Swaha in the end. Then still next is with both Om in the beginning and Swaha at the end. And number 4, then without Om, without Swaha. So basically we need to know the meaning of the meaning. That is the most important thing. As we recited, we can recite the mantra with the meanings reflected, without the meanings reflected. If you recite it with the meanings reflected, the benefit is going to be 1,000,000 times more. Finally, we are not to expect, so recite this mantra and then all the external facilities that I'm looking for, they will automatically come. Okay, this may come as a side product. That is very possible. But that is not the main intention. That is not the purpose. The main purpose is finally that we unfold the internal wealth so that the external wealth automatically comes to you. So this is the main intention. And the external wealth should not be the priority. The priority is to awaken this insight. Find the external wealths are to, keep this in mind, external wealths are to wealth, external situations, what we call as conducive factors. They're meant to make our life easy. And the life easy meaning your mind should be feeling, your mind should feel the ease. For example, say if you are in a place where, how many of you were in a place where it's so humid? Heat, humidity, where? Dana, here, Thomas, there, 3, 4, then the Stina. Okay, so I'm sure Maria also.
Yes.
Then Alex, no.
Yes. Yes.
Where?
In sauna.
Okay. Sauna is what we like. So where we don't like? Where we don't like? Really? Any experience? You go to any place somewhere outside, of course, not in Finland.
Sometimes in Finland.
Where? Sometimes in Finland, humidity. Oh, then I'll invite you to Delhi in August. Those who said in Finland we have humidity, then I'll invite you to Delhi. Then you know what really is humidity, right? Okay. So in other words, what I'm saying is that where there's so humid, so hot. Okay. So there, then we need the say AC, air conditioner to suck the humidity plus the hot air and blow the cold air and blow the dry for us. Why do we need that? Because our body cannot take it. And what's the problem? If the body cannot take it, then the mind feels disturbed. So find the mind. That is the one. The Buddha said that the mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with the pure mind one acts or speaks, one will experience the happiness the way the chariot follows the ox. In the olden times, chariot being pulled by the horses or the ox or oxen. And then the Buddha said, continued, mind is the chief and precedes them all. If with the impure mind one acts or speaks, miseries will follow like the shadow following the person. Okay, so there finally it is the mind, and our mind is so weak. And what if I were to share with you as to how do you demarcate between a Dharma practitioner, somebody who is into Dharma practitioner, and a non-Dharma practitioner? One is not a matter of, okay, I have the, say, I have a whole prayer book, for example, the red one that we have, the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhisattvas, and some people have hours, 3 hours of sadhanas to do. And so this doesn't demarcate whether you are a Dharma practitioner or a non-Dharma practitioner. So one easiest way to demarcate is that one who looks for, the very easy one, and then the little more complicated one. One who sees happiness outside. Always. Happiness means outside. Never looking for happiness inside. And the moment instead of happiness, unhappiness from outside, this unhappiness, this happiness, unhappiness, always pointing your finger outside, that is a non-Dharma person. And somebody who looks for happiness inside and who sees that suffering is inside, not really outside. And of course, we should be very practical. We go to extreme. We should never do that. Always be realistic. Learn how to be realistic and be very practical. So the sound of a clap, this sound of a clap is because of the two hands. Likewise, all the miseries, the tension that we go through is necessarily because of the two factors, like the two hands, external factors and internal factors. Both are responsible. And some people go to the extreme saying that, oh, always external, which is materialism. Materialism. Always looking for external. Never think about the internal. Such a person will never get happiness. With the best of the facilities according to conventional world, even with the best of the facilities, with the best of the situations, a person will be very unhappy. This is one problem, one extreme. Another extreme is, oh, it's not external, it's purely internal. Okay, to what extent it is true? It can be true to somebody who realized, like the mantra which is going to recite, Tyatha Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Samgate Bodhisattva. When you reach to like at least like the second level, or more precisely the third level, when you reach the third level, Gate, what is the third level? Paragate, Parasangate. Beyond Paragate, the moment you reach the Paragate, and in many cases even before that, but then generally speaking, Paragate level, then you are not at all affected by the external factors. Till that point, somehow the external factors do affect us because we are not strong. We are weak. So therefore, the external factors do affect us. So we can't say that it's just internal. For example, some people, they go through depression, deep depression, and others, they don't understand this. Depression is not easy. Nobody wants to go through depression. But then some people do go through depression. When they go through deep depression, then others who have no experience of depression, they said, oh, what is this girl doing? What is this boy doing? And it's purely your thinking. The person cannot even think this much into Dharma for so many years. Not easy. Depression is not easy. if anybody who goes through that acute congestion of the mind, congestion, physiological congestion, and that triggers the congestion of the mind, then you realize that it's not at all easy to say that it is purely internal. No, not at all. So we should take care of both external and internal. And external, just try your best. For example, here in the Finland, we can say that externally speaking, generally speaking, meant for the public is so well organized, is amazingly organized. From that point of view, the Finnish people, they're very fortunate. You don't really have to worry much about that. But it can have bad side also. Bad side also because facilities are, becoming better for you, and then the mind is the same. You have the curiosity to explore outside Finland. If you're always inside, again, people look at you. You have never explored outside. And also you see that many people are traveling. You also want to travel. The moment you travel, you see that you cannot really take what is outside Finland. Why? Why you cannot take it? Because you are spoiled by Finland. You're spoiled. I personally, what happened was that from bases in Delhi, and from Delhi I traveled all different places in India, outside India, and once I landed from Delhi, I landed to Pune, another Indian city, and there, the moment the flight landed, and then we got off the flight, we deboarded the flight, I could feel the breeze, so beautiful breeze. Then the host came to pick me up, and then the host was sweating, and he was saying, the Geshe, it's so hot. I said, no, you must be joking. I said, no, it's so hot. Pune is so hot, Pune is so hot. I said, no, it's so pleasant. You could feel the breeze. He said, no, it's so hot. I said, okay, now you're very serious. If you're very serious, then I realized that, okay, it is because of the kindness of Delhi that now wherever I travel, Delhi has been so kind to me, that now wherever I travel, I could feel the breeze. Wow. And I travel more time in Delhi, or I travel more time outside? I travel more time outside, which means that the most of the time I feel the breeze. Wow, who made me feel that? And everywhere people complain, so hot, so humid, so hot, so humid, and I feel the breeze. Wow, I'm so lucky. What made you feel that? What made you feel the joy wherever I travel? It's because of Delhi. So therefore, they say it has good sides, bad sides, both. So likewise Finland, the external, the facilities, how the government planning, the logistics, the infrastructures, everything is so nice. Okay, so the point is that is the mind. We should be very realistic the moment you step out. And of course, pertaining to the human relationship, that is very complicated. That is common in every way in the world. It's not just, this the government cannot make rules, right? Okay, for the traffic, for the tax, for the insurance, for the medical, this the government can, plan for you. But the human relationships is the same. Nobody can plan for you.
But they try really hard.
Yes, they try.
They try. Lately, they try. Each on their own, it's so totally.
That's true.
Yeah.
But this is something which we cannot, right? They'll try. They'll try. Of course, it's so good. The best way is what we talked yesterday, right? To change the thinking pattern of the people, not by creating rules. Rules can never ever create the human condition. So the human relationship, that can be done only through a very nice planning to change the mind, not through creating the external infrastructure and the what do you call it, the proper strategy of the government. Okay, this with this with mechanically, it can never happen. Okay, so the point that I'm saying is that we should be very realistic. External factors, internal factors. We have to take care of both, right? One. Then the next point is that, okay, immediate, long term. Immediate, we should take care of both, external, internal. And long term, internal. Long term, internal. People are mixing the two things up. Oh, it's purely internal. They're actually meant to talk about the long term. Long term, to get rid of the problems, it is true, only working with the internal. Long term, we cannot expect to get rid of all the external factors. Number of external factors involved is innumerable. It is not just 1, 2, 3. It's infinite. So the wise people, for the long-term plan, wise people will think of changing inside the internal factors. For the immediate, you can take measure both external as well as internal, and more, I would say, more external. Okay, with this in mind, Om Ye Dharma Hedu Prabhava. This is the mantra. So the point is that if for a long term I have to change, then this mantra Om, mantra really is more like the syllable. This syllable Om, when we recite it, it should be a reminder for us that it is consistent, just as this syllable is consisted of 3 letters, A, U, Ma. So that these 3 syllables represent the body, speech, mind that we have, three aspects of our being, the body, speech, and mind. Likewise, they also represent the body, speech, mind of the enlightened beings, meaning that when each one of us, when we become enlightened, when the Buddha energy inside, when the gold inside, when the dirt is removed completely and the gold glows, at that point you have again a body, speech, and mind. So these body, speech, and mind, they are so pure. At the moment, our body is so prone to sickness, aging, death, and so much of problems associated with the body. And in fact, like, if not 100%, 99% of our time is spent after this body. Just to feed this body, we spend at least like 8 hours. 8 hours to work, to get money, to fill the stomach is a body. And then 8 hours we have to sleep, to give rest to this body. And then what is left? Another 8 hours left. What do we do in those 8 hours? Well, maybe say then you relax or you watch television. This just entered in this body, right? It is almost like 99% of our time is just wasted for this body. And what is this body? This body is prone to sickness, aging, death, cancer, all these problems related to this body. This is what our body is. And the speech, what comes out of the speech is so offensive. It can easily offend other people. This is the speech. And then the mind. The mind can easily affect by external factors, and this mind can easily become angry. Our mind is so weak under the sway of the misperception, self-grasping ignorance, and the emotional, say the ground, self-centered attitude. With these 2 things, our mind is made so weak. This is who we are. So, but are these 3 things your true nature? Answer is no. These are just very superficial nature brought to us. The true nature of your mind is so pure, so strong, so compassionate, so full of knowledge and wisdom. And then the speech, because the mind is so pure, full of wisdom, compassion, the speech that comes out is going to be very tender. And the body is not going to be external body, it's going to be the mental body. This body is going to be the body of the radiance of your pure mind, which is not prone to sickness, aging, and death. So the point is, as you recite this syllable Om, this should remind us that, okay, finally my job in this life is not just to behave like it's not to behave like an ordinary person, where we spend like 99% of our time, energy, resources just to take care of this body. Eventually we have to dump this body. And this is, okay, so I shouldn't be behaving like this. I should put my effort, at least some part of my time of the life, meaning some part of the day, some hours of the day, to really bring this body, speech, mind that I have, which are defiled at the moment, into the undefiled body, speech, mind, where I become totally free of external factors, where my agitation, all these things dissolve, where my vulnerability stops. So this is what I should be doing. That is what is to be reminded to us by reciting mantra, the syllable Om. The next question is how? How to do that? Then ye dharma hetu prabhava. Okay, so the vulnerabilities, the limitations that we have, they don't arise randomly. They don't arise causelessly. They arise by dependence on the respective causes and conditions. So for that matter, the wise people will, instead of going for symptomatic treatment, they'll go for the long-term and the proper treatment, the treatment from the root. Whereas the symptomatic treatment is like if you have the headache, if you have a fever, just what is so evident is seen within you, the fever, you try to just deal with it directly. You give a paracetamol. Okay, in Finland it's paracetamol. Okay, you just give paracetamol. This will just suppress the fever, and the fever and headache, just suppress, and the pain. But this is not the lasting solution. Again, the problems will come back. This is known as symptomatic treatment. So the unwise people, they will look for the just symptomatic treatment. They have no clue to go to deal with the root of the problem. Whereas the wise people will go to track the cause, the fund cause, the root, and then terminate the root, and then the symptoms automatically come to an end. So this is the wise approach. Now following the Buddha's teaching is for us to be wise. So it says, ye dharma hetu prabhava. This phenomena of the suffering which we don't like, the phenomena of the happiness that we seek, they don't arise randomly. In fact, they arise from the causes. Ye dharma, these phenomena, ye dharma, hetu, cause, prabhava, arise, originate. This phenomena of suffering which we shun, this phenomena of happiness that we seek, they arise from the causes. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava. Hetum tesham, hetum, the plural form of causes, tesham, these causes, hetum tesham tathagato, tathagata is the Buddha, tathagato hyavatat, hyavatat means said or taught. So what these causes are, is taught by the tathagata. Hetum tesham, hetum, this hetum plural form of causes, tesham, these, tathagato, the Buddha, tathagata hyavatat, hyavatat is taught or said. What these causes are is taught by the tathagata, the Buddha. Hyavatat, tesham chayo nirodha, tesham chayo, these, referring to these causes, the root of the root of the miseries, these causes. Tesham chayo, chayo is again the plural form of these. Tesham chayo, nirodha is the cessation, termination, or the freedom, or the eradication. Nirodha, freedom from these causes. Tesham chayo nirodha, evam, evam is thus, evam vati, vati is again taught or indicated, taught by the great seer, Vadi Mahashramana, Mahashramana, the great seer, Mahashramana, Yeswa, Yeswa is established thus. Okay, so the meaning is these phenomena of the miseries and happiness, they arise from the causes. And what these causes are for the happiness, what these causes are for the miseries, is taught by the Tathagata. And how to bring an end to the causes of these miseries is also taught by the great seer. Great seer here, Mahashramana, the great seer, great saint, referring to the Buddha. Is also, Buddha does not necessarily mean the Buddha Shakyamuni, the Buddha of the past. For example, here, Vajra Cutter Sutra, we're going to read the dimension of the Buddha Dipankara. The Buddha Dipankara, the Buddha with whom, with the blessings and with the inspirations, with the teachings of which the Buddha Shakyamuni achieved enlightenment. So all the Buddhas, they taught how to terminate the causes of misery. So, okay, this is the meaning. So with this mantra, we and the Buddha himself, the praise this mantra so greatly, saying that this mantra is so precious, and of course, you can write this mantra on big slates or the papers, on the postcards or the big posters, and then put on your wall, or very aesthetically you can write it there and put it on an altar. And the Buddha himself taught it that this mantra, if you want to make a stupa, and then the stupa means, oh, it's going to be very expensive. No, you can make a stupa out of 2 euros. You know how just a small container, say, like the Buddha gave the analogy. In fact, the other book, the Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas, through there, this text, very short text, the Sutra on Dependent Origination, is just an opening the pages of this text, the compilation. You'll find it there. The Buddha gave the just metaphor of very small, like the size of a gooseberry. But it's, container, small container. Even if you have just a small container like this, and then just put like a very tiny needle-like inside it, like the whole skeleton, then wrap it with the mantra, Ye Dharma mantra, this mantra which we explain right now, wrapped it, and then as a sign of respect for this mantra, then cover it with some kind of leaf in the form of parasols. It becomes a stupa. Stupa doesn't mean that you should have expensive 10,000 euro stupa. There's not a connotation. So if somebody knows how to do the dharma, some people say, oh, dharma is very expensive. It's totally, when we don't know what dharma is, then it becomes very expensive. If you know what dharma is, it's not expensive. Yes?
I'm sorry if I missed something, but what is the literal meaning of stupa?
Okay. Stupa is chuten. Stupa has the connotation, the basis for you to make offerings. And the stupa symbolizes Buddha's heart. Buddha's heart. So the best way, the best object to which you make offering is the Buddha's heart. Buddha's heart manifests in the form of the Buddha. Buddha's heart manifests in the different forms to benefit all sentient beings. So that is the main source of the blessings to which we make offerings. Okay, good. So with this in mind, we recite this mantra, together. And those of us who do not know how to recite it with the tune, just listen to us and then join us 3 times. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato yavatat chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodham Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. Okay, we'll recite Heart Sutra mantra. Deyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Tyatha 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 Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Okay. Okay. At one time, Buddha Shakyamuni, one morning, Buddha Shakyamuni's chief attendant. Do you know who the chief attendant of the Buddha Shakyamuni was? Ananda. Yes, Venerable Ananda. He was the chief attendant. And do you know how he became chief attendant? Do you know the story? No? Okay. That's interesting. And how many of you, if the people unanimously appoint you as the chief attendant of the Buddha Shakyamuni, are you happy or not happy? Oh, what an honor! Okay, so what happened was that the Buddha Shakyamuni, as the number of the disciples started to grow, then his disciples thought that, okay, now our teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni, the Tathagata, the fully awakened one, we need to have one attendant for our teacher. And they discussed, and then finally they came to realize that the Venerable Ananda, who was one of the Buddha's cousins, he knows the Buddha Shakyamuni before he became a Buddha. He knows him so well. So they decided that we will request the Venerable Ananda to become the chief attendant of the Buddha. Then they went to him, approached him, and just imagine what answer he gave. Any idea? Okay, he gave an answer which you will not expect. Yes, I'll be happy to do that provided he laid a condition. Right? Okay, how many of you are going to lay a condition? You'll not. Provided the awakened one, the Tathagata, promise to give teachings only in my presence. This is a condition laid. Then everybody was really apprehensive. What happened? Why? What an honor! Actually, it would be a great honor to be the attendant of the the full awakened one, the Tathagata. Then they approach the Buddha directly. Then they report this, the venerable, the Buddha, the full awakened one. And then we really see the need to request for somebody to be the attendant. And then we approached Ananda, and Ananda saying the provided. And the Buddha said, what provided? Provided the full awakened one gives teachings only in his presence. And the Buddha said, yes. Yes, we can do that. Yes, I will give teachings only in his presence. Okay, then he became the chief attendant, Ananda. And you remember wondering, what could be the reason for him to create this, to come up with this condition? Was that now you will see that in some books, very standard books, the sutras, you will mention of how many teachings of Buddha existed? Any idea? 84,000. In some texts you will find the mention of the 8,000. There are two versions, 84,000 and 8,000 teaching. So what's the difference? What's the difference between the two? The difference is that before Ananda became the chief attendant, 400 teachings were already given. After Ananda became the chief attendant, then the remaining 8,000 were given. So that the teaching 8,000 means since Ananda became Buddha's attendant, and the 84,000 is everything included. That is 84,000. So the purpose is to make sure that it is not something like provided. This is not the condition. He was thinking of a long-term benefit, long-term for the Buddha Dharma, for the teachings of the Buddha to survive. He could see the prospect that he would have a role to play after Buddha leaves the world. So he would see the prospect. For that matter, if he was absent in some of the teachings, he will not be able to retrieve those teachings. So later on, he became a great contributor to retrieve, to compile all the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, so then one time what happened was that the Buddha Shakyamuni, one early morning, Ananda then approached the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then they look. This is the interesting part. This is a very interesting part. So what the Ananda went to the Buddha one early morning, and then reported that last night, in my heart, I could see I could sense that from my heart, I could sense that outside there was a very bright light, just in the middle of the night, very bright light for some time. And then what was this? This was a question asked. And the Buddha said, yes, last night, the son of the king of the gods and goddesses, son of the Indra, who was the king of the gods and goddesses, he came to see me. He, along with his entourage, they came to meet me. Then Ananda became so excited. So what did he request? What did he request? What did the request, or what kind of conversations went through? Then the Buddha said, he was asking about my previous lives. And then I narrated some of my previous life, what my previous lives were. And then Ananda became even more excited. We will be so happy, even the planet Earth will be very happy to listen to the previous lives of the Tathagata. And the Buddha, and then this, okay. And then Ananda said, requested so much, please share with us, please tell us exactly what the Tathagata told the son of Indra. And then the Buddha started to narrate his life stories of the past. Okay, so the past, the one part which I like to share with you here was that the Buddha Shakyamuni, the past lives, and even in this life, while in the palace, as a young prince, and then his cousins, the cousins, young boys, all these, the princes were all there. Then they, say the lifestyle of the young, the boys in the palace, young boys meaning the royal boys, they're more into indulgence, then the watching the dance performance, then alcohol, they drinking alcohol and so forth, and then watching the music and so forth. So even while the musicians, they were playing music instruments, Prince Siddhartha, he could hear the musical instruments when they play the music to entertain, just to into indulgence, entertain. But he could hear, instead of the music, he could hear all composing things impermanent from this music, from the music that's coming out from the instrument. All composite things impermanent, all contaminated things of suffering nature. Everything is in nature, emptiness, selflessness, transcending sorrows, nirvana. This is what he was hearing. And then Ananda was so curious, how come that is happening? How come that the Tathagata, even as a young prince, and then this music, from musical instruments, how come that these teachings are coming out? Then the Buddha narrated that it was because of his, in the past life, it is his very strenuous practice of the Dharma, study, reflection, and a meditation on the essentials of the teachings. He was so deeply ingrained into these teachings that now, even from what ordinary people, for them is like indulgence, for him it was all teachings coming out. It was because of that, the fruitioning, the effect of those causes. Okay, but there's the Vajra Cutter, what we are doing here on the Vajra Cutter Sutra. So this says, these teachings, if we can say a place, if we can habituate ourselves in Vajra Cutter, this is extremely important, the sutra. If we can really make the most of these sutras, then the benefit that you get would be like how the Buddha, as a young Prince Siddhartha, experienced the result of his practice, student's practice of the Dharma in the past. Okay, but this Prince Siddhartha, after becoming enlightened, then to cut it short, there is what is known as the Buddha Shakyamuni started to give teachings, and the teachings came to be classified into three groups, known as the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. Three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. The one which happened, the first one in Varanasi, second one in Rajgir, third one in Vaishali. Okay, three. And particularly the Vajra Cutter Sutra, that is related to the teachings given in the, so it's related to, it is not. It's related to the class of the group of the family of the teachings, given of following this second turning wheel of Dharma. So which is primarily on the ultimate reality, how everything is like illusion and how everything is coming by the power of your own mind, also known as the concept of emptiness or the concept of the ultimate expanse of the reality. So this is that teaching. Now this class of teaching, which is referred to as the second turning wheel of Dharma, it is exclusively on emptiness. So there the teachings is of, say, the teaching has the two sides. One is the explicit teachings and the other one is the implicit teachings, the second turning wheel of Dharma. Finally, the emphasis is on what we studied from this text, Vajra Cutter Sutra, is on the ultimate reality, how everything is like a dream. So this On the explicit teachings of the second eternal will of Dharma, it is on the emptiness concept, how nothing exists independently, how nothing exists objectively. This one part. And then the implicit teachings. Implicit teachings, if you know that, after knowing this, and then say, how do you traverse along the path? Gate, para, samgade, bodhisattva. How you traverse along this path. And say how you traverse, what drives you there, what are the facets that we need to focus on in order for us to traverse the path very successfully, and the amount of the skillfulness required. For example, the 6 perfections, the 4 perfections, total like 10 perfections, how to practice them. They're all what you see as the implicit teachings. They are known as the minor teaching, the implicit teachings. And the most easy way of distinguishing the explicit one and the implicit one is on the basis of what is known as the teaching on the wisdom side and the teaching on the other sides other than the wisdom, which means that the teaching of the profundity and the teaching of the vastness. Profundity meaning the emptiness, and the vastness meaning the, say, what we should actually practice alongside the wisdom. And this wisdom, to know everything like a dream, everything as the empty of objective existence or empty of independent existence, that is what is referred to as the liberating path. That practice actually liberates us, and all other paths are meant to somehow take you there, directly or indirectly, take you there to understand this wisdom. So the wisdom is the one which liberates the path. For example, say okay, Finland, I don't know, Finland, they say in what is the strength of Finland in Olympics? Which game? Which sport? Any idea? Football, basketball, gymnastics? Ice hockey. Okay, let's say the ice hockey, what's the population in Finland? 5.5 million people. Okay, 5.5 million people go to play the ice hockey for the Olympic? Huh? Honey is saying yes. Okay, so we no 5.5 million people will not go there to play ice hockey to represent Finland, right? There's only going to be at the most 20, along with the substitutes, 20 or 30, let's say 30, along with the coach. So like 30, let's say 30 people represent the Finland people. You're getting it? Okay. So likewise, say the remaining 5.5 million keeping aside, subtracting 30 people, the remaining 5.5 million people, they support this small representation. They support this, and this representation will actually represent you there on the global level. Likewise, all the other practices, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, and the skillfulness, power, aspiration prayers, discriminative wisdom, they're all directly or indirectly support the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness is the one which will actually liberate us. All others are to support this wisdom of emptiness, to lift you up to the enlightenment. Like just as the 5.5 million, the Finnish people, they support the 30 people and then make them represent Finland there on the international level. So likewise, all the other paths, they support the wisdom of emptiness to grow, and this will actually liberate us from suffering. Okay, so that is wisdom of emptiness, and all others are the supporters. All the supporting paths, they are known as the path of the vastness, and the wisdom which liberates you towards nirvana is known as the liberating path or the path of the profundity. So the profound path and the vast path, 2 categories. So now the second eternal will of Dharma, what is explicitly taught is the profound path, and what is implicitly taught is the vast path. This is what we need to keep in mind. Okay, so with this Vajra Cutter Sutra, so this is supposed to be actually a teaching, right? This is a teaching supposed to be for somebody who studied emptiness, who studied everything for like 20 years. 20 years, and then this teaching will happen for at least about a whole 1 month. And then this is a very special group, which does not require that 10-20 years of study, and which does not require the 1 month. We have only time for 3.5 hours. Yeah, it's a very special group. Okay, so this is basic framework. So now Vajra Cutter Sutra. Okay, let's say first let's turn to the title, Vajra Cutter Sutra, page 3. Okay, do you all have this? Yes. I hope it's the same page. Are we on the same page? Okay, page 3, it reads that Vajra Cutter Sutra, in the language of India, the Indian language, Arya Vajra Chetika Nama Prashna Paramita Mahana Sutra. Arya means superiors. Superior, not in the superior in the normal context, in the context of somebody, in the context of the purity. Say Arya in the context of the beings. In the beings, when does it become pure? When your mental stains are removed. And when does it begin to remove the mental stains? It's when you reach the path of seeing. Gate, Paragade, third level, path of seeing. When you reach that, then when you see path of seeing, to see emptiness directly. When you see emptiness directly, at that point, then the real cleansing happens. Real cleansing of your mind happens. Otherwise, all of the purification practice that we do, cleansing practice that we do, Vajrasattva practice and so forth, till you reach that level. So the purification happens, but the purification not happening from the root. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Meaning that, then what's the point? I've been doing Vajrasattva practice for all these retreats and these things. I went for just exclusively for the Vajrasattva retreat. So now I realize that it's not the real purification. No, that's not the point. Purification is happening. Purification not happening from the root. From the root, the purification happens only when you reach the path of seeing, to when you see emptiness directly. Okay, so anybody who sees emptiness directly is known as Arya being. Now, any system, any teaching which has that demeanor, which has the fabric of cleansing the mind completely, is referred to as the cleansing mind from the root, is referred to as the Arya, with respect, is a reverence, a word of reverence. Okay, Arya. Vajra, you know, Vajra is symbolized, okay, Vajra has many connotations. And then many connotations and many symbolisms. It's symbolic of many contents. Okay, in simple terms, Vajra has the connotation of the indestructibility. Vajra has the connotation, or sometimes people also translate Vajra as diamond, because it's so strong, you cannot really easily destroy that. So Vajra has the connotation of indestructibility, number one, and it also has the connotation of inseparability. Okay, what is meant by inseparability? Inseparability, there's a connotation of at least 2 or 3 things, 2 or more things. Then we can say that these are inseparable. We cannot separate the two. Okay, let's say in our case, our body, speech, and mind. Body, speech, mind, they're all separable. They're separable, and when we die, the body travels to the next life, and the mind travels to the next life, and the body is left behind, cremated, or the buried, in whatever case, cremated, buried, whatever, eventually it will become soil. And then the plants will absorb that in the form of nutrients. And then it will take the shape of the apples, mangoes, gooseberries, whatever. And somebody is going to eat this. And it's going to become the body of somebody else. This is what the body is. Whereas your mind does not become the mind of somebody else. The mind will travel to the next life. So the mind and the body, these two are separated. These two are not inseparable for us. Whereas the Vajra has a connotation of inseparability when you reach a level of enlightenment where your body, you don't have to borrow your body from somebody. Our body, the body that we have now, this we borrowed from our parents. This body is borrowed from our parents. It's not your body. You did not bring this body from your past life. Right? Only what you brought is just the mind you brought from the past life. This body you borrowed from your parents. Right? Whereas when you become enlightened, you don't have to borrow the body from somebody else. Your mind manifests in the form of the body. So there's the mind as well as the radiance of the body. And this body will never separate from the mind. So it is for this reason that when you become enlightened, your body, speech and mind, these three are indistinguishable. These three are inseparable. This is the meaning of the Vajra. And of course in Tantra, there's a connotation of the clear light and the illusory body. Clear light referring to the subtlest version of your mind. Illusory body referring to the subtlest body of yours. So these two, clear light and the illusory body, when you reach to the very high level of the practice, then these two become inseparable. Inseparable, in other words, the same. The concept means the same. Your body, your mind itself assumes the subtlest form, and that then radiates in the form of the body, which is known as the illusory body. So these two are inseparable. Okay. So out of the many connotations here, say the Vajra has a connotation of the what do you call it, the indestructibility. Indestructibility, when you experience emptiness directly, then that is the one which will destroy the worst of the mental defilements. So if that is destructible, if that wisdom is destructible, then it cannot really be the countermeasure to destroy the mental defilements. So that is, this wisdom emptiness is indestructible. This is the Vajra. Okay, and then it says the Arya Vajra Chetika cutter. Okay, to cut the Vajra, referring to the wisdom of emptiness, the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, direct experience emptiness, and that cuts all the mental defilements, particularly the ignorance, which is responsible for ignorance, and the subtle stains, which are responsible for making us weak. So to cut all these. Nama is prostration, prashna is the wisdom, paramita is the transcendental wisdom of the perfection, wisdom of perfection, or the transcendental, or the one gone beyond. One gone beyond, it has many connotations. Yes, Thomas?
Prajna is wisdom or knowledge. Prajna is wisdom that surpasses the wisdom. Like
okay, not really. Not really. No. Prajna is the wisdom. Pragya, prashna, wisdom. So now here's prashna paramita. Paramita has the connotation, the one gone beyond. Or often translated is the transcendental or the perfection wisdom, prashna paramita. So together makes the transcendental wisdom or the wisdom gone beyond. Okay, the prashna paramita, Mahayana Sutra. Okay, Mahayana, Yana is the vehicle, a system or a vehicle. Maha is great, a great vehicle. Referring the Maha in the context of the goal that you are seeking, great in the form of goal that you are seeking, greatness of the goal, then the greatness of your aspiration, the greatness of the path. Greatness of the goal is not just a partial liberation, but the full awakening. Then the difference that the contrast drawn between the two is that the light that is emitted by the fireflies, the light emitted by the fireflies versus the light of the sun. There's no comparison. So, personal liberation where you are free from samsara yourself, but you are yet to achieve Buddhahood. So that liberation is like, it's a light. It is despite the darkness. But what kind of light? That is like the metaphor given is the light of the fireflies, light emitted by the fireflies. When compared with the light of the whole sun, it's just so minuscule, infinitely small. So the full awakening, Buddhahood, likes the light of the sun. So there's such a contrast there. So the Buddhahood is referred as the Maha. Then, in terms of the motivation, okay, I must be liberated from samsara. I must be liberated from samsara. I, one person. And I must achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient infinite beings. Again, in terms of the scope of your motivation, scope for whom you're working, the driven to work for is the infinite beings versus one person. Again, you see that in terms of the motivation, there's a contrast. One is very small, one is Maha, great. Then in terms of the path, for example, if somebody tells me, okay, let's say, if I'll be here in Finland for the next, let's say, the 5 or 10 days, in Helsinki for like 5 or 10 days, and I come all the way from, let's say, from the Stina's place to this, right? Then if somebody asks you, okay, do you know Finland? I will say, yes, I've seen Finland with my own eyes, of Helsinki with my own eyes. And then you say, okay, if you know that, then I will not guide you anymore, right? And then somebody throws me in a very corner, somewhere in a corner of Helsinki, then I get lost, right? Although I know Helsinki, I have seen Helsinki with my own eyes and have been moving around for all these like 2 weeks. And then but it doesn't mean that I know Helsinki. Okay, what's the problem? Have I seen Helsinki? Yes, no? Yes, of course, I've seen Helsinki. And did I really move between, okay, let's say if I move between the Stina's place and the center for like whole, I'll say 2 weeks. Did I move around in Helsinki? Yes, particularly from this place to the center to the Stina's place where I stay. Did move around? Yes. And then suddenly somebody dropped me in a corner of Helsinki and I get lost. Okay, why did I lose? You know what Helsinki is. You have seen with your direct eyes Helsinki, right? How come you are lost? Anybody? Quick. No answer. This is no philosophy. This is very simple.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, the question is that I'm here in Helsinki for 2 weeks, let's say 2 weeks, and although it is my first time here, but imagine that I've been coming from Stina's place where I am staying, between that place and this center. Let's say I've been moving for the last 2 weeks. So if somebody asks me on phone, hey Geshe, where are you? I'm in Helsinki, right? Okay, are you aware of it? Did you see Helsinki with your own eyes? Yes, yes, yes. Did you travel around? Yes, yes, yes. And not only travel, I moved from one place to this place. The road is very familiar. Okay, okay, now, do you know Helsinki? Have you really seen that with your own eyes? Yes. Okay, then they say, okay, then Karina, right? Karina will certainly, Karina, yeah. Karina will certainly drop me in a corner of Helsinki. Then I get lost, right? I get lost. Why did I get lost? I've seen Helsinki directly with my eyes. Why did I get lost? Yes, Dana?
That part you just were familiar with one part of it.
Yes, Helsinki is not just one part, not only that route. right? Not only that road from the FPMT center to the Steener's place, it's not only that, it has so many paths. So I know only one part. Whereas now, in terms of the path, PATH, in terms of the path, followed by those people who seek personal liberation versus those people who seek liberation for all beings. Who seek personal liberation, they only go from Steener's place to FPMT center. Those who want liberation for all beings, they go nook and corner of everywhere in Helsinki, right? So that way, Helsinki is so like it is in the palm of your hand. Whereas for me, Helsinki means just this road. Just this road, the other parts I get lost. So, in terms of your familiarization of the path, those who seek personal liberation, what they know is very narrow, small path. What the Bodhisattvas who seek liberation for all sentient beings, what they know is so vast and so profound. There's a difference. So we see that Mahayana here. Mahayana is a system whose goal is so vast as compared to the goal aspired by the personal liberation seekers. In terms of the motivation encompasses all infinite sentient beings, as opposed to somebody motivated to work just for oneself. Then in terms of the path, somebody who's exposed to the innumerable paths and with a great clarity, sharpness and familiarity, versus somebody who knows only one narrow path towards enlightenment. So therefore, the Bodhisattva's path is referred to as the Mahayana. And the teachings, a sutra. Sutra has many connotations. Sutra has many connotations. Sutra, when you read the word sutra, it has many connotations. One is sutra in the context of the Buddhist and non-Buddhist both. So the classical Indian traditions, Buddhism, now we can call it Hinduism, meaning many of the classical Indian traditions come together. Not really come together, people now think of them as one unit. Actually, they were not one unit. In fact, the word Hinduism came very lately. Okay, so the many traditions, there were predominantly about like 6 traditions there before this word Hinduism to unite all the traditions together. There were about like 6 traditions. Nowadays, what is more prevalent is Vedantic tradition, and then now there's also another way of classification: Shaivites, Vaishnavites, and then the other traditions. They're more like more now studied on a scholarly academic. As academic studies, but not as a practitioners is less found, like Nyaya tradition, Mimamsaka tradition, Vaisheshik tradition, Samkhya tradition, Charvaka tradition, whereas Vedanta is still very alive. Still very alive, Thomas.
But they all accept the authority of Vedas, Astika tradition, so they have some kind of common root.
Okay, so basically, Thomas, is not true. For example, say the Jains, they don't accept that.
Yeah, Jain are different type of
No,
Samana
listen.
tradition. They are Nastikas. Even the classical Hindu schools, they didn't classify Jains as Astika, Orthodox tradition.
Okay, so basically, you see that so let us not mix that up for the time being.
Jains and that.
Yeah. The idea is that, classically speaking, they're all different traditions. They're separate traditions. And then now they say there's some scholars, particularly some who adheres to this as my system, they try to incorporate, of course, Jainism, not only Jainism, even Buddhism also, they try to incorporate everything. Okay, so with this, the point is sutra in general is that in general, irrespective of the traditions like Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, it is like the very standard teachings. Say the teaching which they classify as the classics, the final authority. So these they call as sutras. Now in the context of Buddhism, within Buddhism again, we see that, okay, sutra, oh, it must be Buddhist teaching, not necessary. So sutra, the same word is used by the other traditions also, non-Buddhist traditions also. Now in the context of Buddhism, again sutra has many connotations, keep this in mind. Sutra, the Buddha's, all Buddhist teachings, in the Buddhist context, then sutra, in one context, broadly speaking, all Buddhist teachings, be it sutra or tantra, any teaching of Buddha is classified as the sutras. This is one understanding. Another understanding is sutra as opposed to tantra. Again, this is another way of understanding sutra. So we should be extremely precise when we speak about, okay, who is the president of